And we move on to the next and the final panel session of the day, Omnichannel Success, Lessons in CX Strategy and Execution. So we are moving ahead on the Omnichannel direction, and the first panel to talk about Omnichannel in this entire one-day session that we had. And we had a plethora of panel experts here who are absolute best when it comes to Omnichannel and its nitty-gritties in the customer experience segment. Before I call on the honorable panel members, would like to share a few points of discussion which they are going to talk about. How to envision our future-ready omnichannel architecture, driving the company's CX transformation through omnichannels, and how to optimize your digital touchpoints, and many more. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome the honorable panel members, and please help me do that with a big round of applause. Joining us first on the stage is Mr. Hari Shankar Mishra, Senior Vice President, Customer Experience from Future Generali Insurance Company. Mr. Mishra, welcome to the panel. Delighted to have you here, sir. Please take your seat. Joining next, we have Mr. Suraj Shetty, Head of Customer Experience from Kissht Loan. A big round of applause to Suraj. Suraj, thank you so much. And welcome to the panel. Joining next, we have, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rakesh Gupta, Head of Customer Experience from Anchor by Panasonic. A big round of applause to Mr. Gupta. Welcome to the panel. Joining next, we have Mr. GovindaRaj, Avasarala, Head of Customer Experience and Excellence from Vodafone Idea. A big round of applause to Mr. GovindaRaj. Welcome to the panel, sir. Joining next, we have Mr. Deepak Bhatia, IT Specialist from India Exim Bank. A big round of applause to Deepak. Deepak, welcome to the panel. Joining next, we have Mr. Abhinav, Vice President and Head of API Banking, WhatsApp and Chatbot from Axis Bank. A big round of applause to Abhinav. Abhinav, welcome to the panel. Delighted to have you here. Joining next, we have Mr. Rajiv Nagarajan, Deputy General Manager and Head of Social Media, Bharti Airtel. A big round of applause to Rajiv. Rajiv, welcome to the panel again. Joining next, Mr. Pushkar Gokhale, Senior Vice President and Business Head, Godrej Security Solutions. Big round of applause to Pushkar. Pushkar, welcome to the panel. Joining next, we have Mr. Rajan Sharma, General Manager, Marketing, Daikin Airconditioning India. Big round of applause to Rajan. Welcome to the panel. And would like to call on stage the Honorable Moderator now, Mr. Abhinav Chaturvedi, Partner Consulting from Deloitte India. A big round of applause to Mr. Chaturvedi. Welcome to the panel. Mr. Chaturvedi, all over to you for this fantastic panel and looking forward to a cracking session.
Okay. Am I audible? All right, cool. Thank you, everyone, and great to be here. This is a fantastic topic. The panel members, we just realized backstage, we started chatting and we felt that this is, the time is too short because the topic is vast. We have diverse set of people here, people from different kind of organizations, and it will be great to hear their views. As Deloitte, I would say I'm privileged to work with customers from diverse backgrounds and work with the topic of CX and omnichannel from different perspectives. But I'm always very, very keen to hear directly from people who are doing it. So without further ado, maybe we just open the floor with a quick view on how has the omnichannel CX journey been in your organization. Right, and in no particular order, maybe we could start from there. Please, you might take a couple of minutes or 3 minutes to just talk about your journey in your organization. What have you done in your context?
Yeah, Hello. Yeah, thank you. And congratulations for this very contemporary topic we are discussing today, especially when we talk about customer journey and user experience. So I believe every organization has a different landscape. But nowadays when we discuss or when we read most on internet, so I believe we get lost with this Facebook, Instagram, and all those social media platforms. But what I have experienced, especially working with the Exim Bank, where we are into B2B business and major portion of our business comes from government and our engagement with them. So what we have done in terms of user experience, two things I would like to highlight here. One, our customer connect. One is through our branch network. Second is through the seminars or the exporters meet which we used to do earlier. Rather, in fact, now post-COVID, we have again started it. So there we could find that the connect was there because to explain someone what we can do for the exporters or what is project export or how Exim Bank can help you to do that. So you need to have a longer duration connect with the customer. So there, all those seminars which we used to have, of course, the presence was not as much as we were expecting. So what we have done, we have connected the same with the personalized seminars. So wherein the exporters or the companies who are willing to do some sort of export or experience that, so they can connect us with any time on their demand. Plus all those seminars which we are doing, they are now live streaming we are doing. And the questions which they ask are directly answered by our presenters. The second thing what we have done, as I mentioned, that the major customer, I would say, are the sovereign governments and government of India. So there was a disconnect of what we were doing and what they were experiencing. So we have connected our systems with their systems. So whatever we are doing, they can have a direct view. Like suppose I would take one example. So suppose we are funding some project in Africa also. So where it has reached, what is happening in that, or what is the progress of that particular project. So all those now, what we have done, we told them, okay, you are using certain systems, you leave those systems, you come with us, you use our platform, and let's collaborate together. With those overseas governments also, we have done similar fashion, and we believe now their experience with our products, and they are more informed. And the issues which earlier we were facing, okay, we are doing, Exim Bank is doing something, we are not aware, or what else we can do, where we can collaborate. So those platforms, I would say, both in terms of digital plus personalized. So meshing of both has really helped us in connecting with our customers.
Yeah, thanks Deepak. I think I was about to say something called business to human, and I'll tell you what I mean by it. I think I come from Vodafone Idea, which is a telecom brand and a company, and we have two large segments just to set the lay of the land. One is a B2B business, which straddles all the way from SOHOs, SMEs, to government, to Indian corporates, to global multinational corporates. And on the other hand, we have the retail consumers, which is prepaid and postpaid. So it's quite a bit of a spectrum of consumers and customers that we deal with. I think we are roughly about 20 channels across these two businesses. That's quite a lot, all the way from a high-touch, personalized relationship managers to almost virtual do-it-yourself kind of an app and a bot journey. I think some of the reflections I probably thought would be useful to this audience would be, I think I see some, while the journey is still, I would say, is underway, it's not complete. I think the omnichannel is always evolving. Three things are standing out for us. One, I think you got to go omnichannel because I think the consumers and the customers prefer it, and time is a new currency, convenience and everything, etc. So I think the why is clear. However, I think as we navigate in the journey, I think a couple of things started to emerge as something that we need to be really cautious about. One, I think, is the risk that you carry. One negative experience in any of the one channel probably starts spilling over, and I think it takes you quite a lot of effort to turn the tide back with customers. I think the stats say that one negative experience needs 12 positive moments to recover. That's a risk. And obviously, you got to be consistent when you want to be empathetic. How do you ensure consistency across channels? The second, I think, is one thing that we're watching out, I think, is as you go omni-channel, what really is the effort that the customer is going through. While you think you're given a due to yourself, but at the end you again get a call on the call center. So is the effort increased or has the effort got optimized? Because there is a cost and there is also a dissonance that raises. So that's the second point I think we are passionate about. Third, I think, is how do you measure really the net impact of it? Because I think you are incurring certain effort and cost and resources. So how do you measure the effectiveness of the entire omni-channel? I think we are figuring out ways to do that. I think there are obviously the customer experience measurement tools and surveys that we do. But net-net, the key point for us that is emerging, I think, is ensuring empathy in a consistent way across the channels. That I would probably leave it as one of the key points from our journey.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhinav. I think that's a great question. So myself, Suraj, Shetty, I had customer experience and learning and development for Ring. Ring is a fintech platform. We provide credit to Gen Z, millennials, as well as those who do not have access to traditional lines of credit. When it comes to omni-channel experience, I've seen that the base lies in connecting people and processes first before the technology comes into the place. So what we have done is that number one, be it any channel. For example, it's call, chat, email, social media, or even a storefront where a salesperson is standing and acquiring a merchant for credit. In that case, no matter how many employees are there and which location they are operating from, if the data is accessible, same data is accessible for all the employees, then the experience remains constant. So we started with working on the data that is provided to the employees. A call center employee has the same set of data available which a field employee needs to have. Similarly, for example, if a customer on field says that he has raised a grievance and the grievance is still now not solved, then the sales, usually the scenario is that the sales guy will say, I don't know, you need to speak to customer service. I don't know what is the status of the complaint. Please call them up. Or he will help him call. Instead of that, right now what we do is he has an app. He can go into the app and see what is the status of the complaint. He can help him with the resolution on the same time. As well as, if the resolution is not given, he has a special channel, access to connect with the grievances team to get it resolved on priority if it's an emergency. So the kind of assistance that a contact center would provide, the same assistance at the same speed and the same clarity of assistance can be provided even by a sales executive who is at the junior most level. So this starts with data, and that's where we have fixed it. And for fixing this, the utmost important thing is the different systems that different teams are using. Sales team is using one software, the customer services team is using one software, marketing team is using some other software. It's necessary that all softwares are connected. If these softwares and the systems are working in silos, the team will continue to work in silos. So it's necessary that we integrate all the systems and the data flows across the organization. Only then the kind of experience that we're looking for can be delivered. So that's what we have done.
Nice, if I may. So it was great hearing you all and getting great perspectives. I think it's the evening and all must be a little jaded and all are already experts here in Omnichannel. So to have someone else to add some extra knowledge, I don't know how much well it goes down. But maybe I'll share my 2 bits and keep it very basic. So this is a much used and I would say often much abused term also, Omnichannel. But going back to the basic, like Omni I understand is ever or every. Like we talk about the omnipotent or the omnipresent, the God. So this is like ever present, everywhere present kind of thing, so that you are not missing the customer into any place. So the key word I hear is to be present where your customers are present. And that is how the evolution of Omnichannel has happened and will continue to happen, because where are the customers present? What are their preferences? So can I be present on those channels and make it easier for the customer? Otherwise, maybe there is no need for being omnipresent. It is just a fad. So I represent an insurance company, Future Generali, and understanding this bit, how has been the evolution of customer preferences in the recent times of channels that they are preferring? Certainly, everyone today who has a mobile phone is available on WhatsApp. So that's one channel we are leveraging, at least for any kind of outgoing communication to start with. Of course, there will be customer service communication also, because that is a place where you do not need to bring your customers to the platform. When you are talking about a mobile app, you may have a wonderful mobile app, but you have to make an effort to first have the customer to download the app and then use it. And especially when it is an insurance scenario, which is not like an e-commerce, like a Flipkart or a Amazon, where you are buying something every month at least. This is something which you may use 2 times or 3 times a year if you are really going to use it at all. So you have to look at where are the customers present. Then it may be even other apps, like your UPI payment apps, like the Paytm or the Google Plays or so. So to go and be present there, to be integrated so that the customer can make their renewal payments there or can buy insurance also over them. That's another strategy that we look at and how we have integrated over there. And when we talk about Omni, it's not only about servicing. Oftentimes we tend to think of Omnichannel as Omnichannel modes of servicing, but it would be the entire life cycle and the entire journey of the customer. Starting from the buying to the servicing to the claiming to any policy servicing or so. And that is again where the difference will arise. So maybe at the buying time, and one consumer behavior we have observed in insurance is the customer will go online and search the products. And maybe this is not only insurance, this may be also true for your mobile purchase or your big ticket purchases. Then he'll see the ratings on the social media sites. And then after that he will want a human being, advisor, to advise him so that he has one neck to catch when things go wrong. So he does his research online, but he likes advice to be given by someone who is human or a human touch in the buying process. I think for big ticket items like maybe the white goods or such, we also look the rates and then we try and go to the big shop and try to negotiate at that rate and buy that. Maybe that's a behavior, a human behavior. So looking at that way, the journeys have to be built. You have to be present on the channel, but you have to find how to seamlessly switch. If he is struggling too much on the website, not only the call going at the right time, but if it is a big ticket enough, even a person visiting him at the right time. And then, of course, all these nuggets of wisdom my friends here shared, that all of this has to be seamlessly integrated and you have to pick up from where you dropped in the last channel, and the journey has to be seamless so that he doesn't feel disjointed. Oh, I had told this already on WhatsApp and now you're asking this on call. And before closing, one more trend. I mean, all this Omni will come and we are talking about AI and utilization also. But when it comes to things like a request, a complaint, where a customer really needs to pent it out, he will want it to be a call or a face-to-face, even in a severe situation. So that is a place where we must have the availability of the option for calling. It's not that call rates are anytime dropping and people are going and using all the other modes because simply they are available. Those will prevail to be there. These have been long-term things, and that's how maybe we built our omni-channel strategy, and all of us, I'm sure, are doing better also.
Sure. And I would say, Hari, especially in your kind of industry where it is high involvement purchase, where customers do a lot of research before actually buying the product, this thing applies even more because they might be consulting their friends, they might be looking at social media. So providing that consistent experience during the research stage, during the buying stage is very important. Thanks. Yeah, Rakesh.
So just to add on what Hariji and Govindji said, it is very important for that seamless experience. That's what we have been speaking, seamless experience, seamless experience. But there are cases wherein, the consumer behavior is also changing. So while we look at the omni-channel strategies, while we look at the presence, or while we look at the methods by which we can revert to the consumer, one thing which has to be very cautious is the ever-changing behavior of the consumers. So post-pandemic, there has been a sea change. The consumers previously were okay with their responses which have been coming to them in couple of hours, or a technician visit which can be arranged at your place in under 48 hours. But the behavior is changing. And it has resulted, to be organizations to be more responsible, because any delay can result to an outburst. So as you rightly said, Govindji, one negative impression can vanish off the months of efforts being done by the online Marcom guys. So anything which we need to divine on strategies, omni-channel strategies, we have to be assuring that it has to be fast. The turnaround times as expected by the consumers, not only at the point of interaction, but at the point of resolution also. So while, as mentioned by Hariji, the human touch will always be there. So if the online conversational AI or all those technologies are doing any goof up, manual agent has to be there in order to ensure that experience doesn't go for a toss in any of the medium, whether it could be a social media channel, or it's a chatbot, or it's a phone call. So for me, the two key takeaways is the speed through which what we respond, and there's always availability of a human touch or backup. These asides the omni-channel strategies.
Thanks. Rakesh, the point where you ended, right? That speed and human touch, right? So in our organization, rather in our industry, what we have seen that now the vision has been changed from product centric to customer centric. Okay, earlier we used to build product. Now what we are building customer centric product where it's all about customer, right? So customer will be in the center. For example, let's say a deposit product, a fixed deposit product, right? So in fixed deposit, we used to have a certain criteria when we are launching those products. For example, the rate of interest or the tenures and all. But nowadays, if you see, all the campaigns and all are so much personalized for the customers. We are only reaching to the customer who are the probable or prospective customer for the FD, right? So it's very much customer-centric, one. And the second thing is that we, rather all the banks, what I have seen in last 2-3 years, especially after pandemic, is that we all want to know our customer, right? What are the customer needs? What are the customer wants? What are their preferences? What are the context, right? If I'm going to offer any of my banking product to any for the customer, right? If that offer is not contextual, or if that offer is not a preferential one for the customer, the entire cost of making that offer will be in vain, and at the same time, there will be a very bad experience for the customer, right? So nowadays, we all are thinking about the customer-centric approach. Time to market is another factor, that if a customer needs some solution, especially for the corporates, which I have seen, right? Most of the corporate customers' needs or requirements are very bespoke or customized, like, right? They don't go for any one-size-fit-for-all kind of solution. But on those lines, for corporates also, we have seen that if they want something in some stipulated time, we'll have to deliver it, right? So the time to market is very important. And that domain-centric, if we are building some, again, a new customer experience or a new customer experience like product, right? It has to be very contextual and it has to be very domain-centric. So these all are the changes or shifts we have seen in customer experience, especially in bank. Also the hyper-personalized experience, right? Now, in case of retail customer, if you see, the need or want are very, different than one customer to another. So for each and every customer, make them feel that you are different, make them feel that you are special, right? And the instant gratification whenever they are coming to our channel, right? Like what Hari was talking about, the WhatsApp communication, right? If you see all the banks, we are now into WhatsApp banking, right? And it's WhatsApp we are not only using for customer servicing, even for the onboarding purpose. As an example, we have recently launched our deposit journey in WhatsApp. So if any of Axis Bank customers, they want to book FD through WhatsApp, it's a complete native experience. There is nothing to be called redirection. They can book the FD from the journey, WhatsApp journey itself. So these are the instant gratification and instant solution or onboarding journey which we are looking for these days. And customers are very much attaching to this. So the adoption rate is very high these days.
Yeah. So with respect to social, we can see omnichannel in two ways. One is the support aspect of social media, which is the online reputation part. The other part is the marketing and campaign part that we are running. So when we say omnichannel, we have to kind of, if we put it in a layman's term, we have to be present, brands have to be present wherever customers are. So what I think is more important is that to ensure that you don't redirect customers from one area to another area. Say, for example, with respect to telcos, we get a lot of complaints. I'm sure my fellow panelists from VI will also agree with me. We get a lot of complaints about network and connectivity, poor coverage on social media, right? What we tend to normally do is that we ask the customer to walk into a store and go fix the SIM card. But what we are missing out is that the expectation from customer side is that I reach out to a channel and I would expect the response and resolution from that particular channel rather than redirecting me to another channel. And at times the expectations from millennials and Gen Zs are not even a call. So it's like, I just tweeted, why you have to call me? And so they are expecting the empathetic response and acknowledgement coupled with a resolution-driven response, right? I mean, they're not also okay with the traditional, we are sorry or apologize for the inconvenience. The scripted canned response is again not matching to it. So again, when we talk about omni-channel, we definitely have to cater to what that particular channel needs are. Say, for example, a LinkedIn, a complaint from LinkedIn or a dissatisfactory experience from a LinkedIn customer writing on that channel would require a different type of attention rather than a Gen Z customer or a millennial customer posting an Instagram story, right? So we may have to tailor make and customize our responses and our approach towards resolution to such audience. The other aspect on social, when it comes to our campaigns and when it comes to brand and lead generation, again, it differs from channel to channel. When we target our target audience are more of a rural area for our DTH or dish-to-home connections, we tend to promote a lot of celebrity kind of campaign. But whereas in the tier 1 and metro areas, where our target audience are the new age customers, it's more of an influential campaign that we are running. So they have an active presence on social. They already have a base for enhancing your social metrics. So again, omni-channel usually tends to understand it as a customer support term, but omni-channel means that you also be a part of the customer journey, right from acquisition to customer support to marketing and to their exit also. So that's how I see, and that's a trend what we are doing on social.
Yeah, hi, good evening. See, I think this is something which we've been talking about, but what I will tell the audience here is our journey of the last 3 to 4 years. And when I look back, so I would actually categorize this entire journey into 3 parts. The first part is the BC. BC AD now has a very different connotation. So BC is before COVID, and I think before COVID, yes, we did have some amount of omni-channel presence, but of course that was more discreet. But I think what has happened is, if I were to really sit here maybe 3 years back, I would have been talking a very different language. But now what has happened is, with the entire tech revolution which has happened post-COVID, I think we are talking about, really very different kind of revolution, I would say. So I think post-COVID, or I would say that DC, that is during COVID, there were a lot of work which we did in terms of trying to understand what the customer really wants, trying to get a lot of customer insights. And that actually taught us a lot, because we were actually fighting against a lot of adversities as to how to reach out to customers, how the customers could reach out to us. So we had to open up a lot of avenues during COVID to ask the customers to really do certain things remotely. So there were a lot of actions which we took during that time. And of course, AD, after the disease, I think there is a lot which we've done in terms of understanding our stakeholders as well. So what we have understood, and I'll just maybe talk about the summary of what we have understood based on our insights of the stakeholders, is that, we spoke about seamless experience across channels. But I think what matters to the customer is experience, how the brand is going to give experience to them across the entire shopper's journey at various stages. Because right from awareness, what are we really doing to create awareness, what are we going to do in terms of getting into the consideration set, and then the selection. I think one area where we found that we need to really work on was the selection aspect. How does the customer select the right product? Because when, say for example, you open up an online store, how do you help the customer? How do you make things simpler? And I'll give you just one example. We are into the business of home safes. Of course, we do a lot in terms of supplying to the BFSI. But the home safes category, when the customer actually goes onto the online store, as a layman, he or she just does not know how he or she is going to select the product. So we just differentiated our products into 10x, 100x, 250x. We said, okay, we'll make it simpler. So 10x is nothing but 10 times stronger than your normal wardrobe. 100x is 100 times stronger and 250x is 250 times stronger. Because otherwise it was very difficult for us to ask a customer, if I were to ask you, Ki bhai, what are you going to store? How much money do you have? And then I'll give you a product corresponding. The customer, he or she will never disclose. Or how much jewelry am I going to store? So we had to come up with something which will guide the customer and that's why I feel that, this experience across these stages actually matters a lot. And this is one area where we've done a lot of work gathering, and every time we had to keep on refining what we are doing, and that's why talking to the customers continuously, engaging with them, knowing what they really want was really, really crucial for us. And then we've been refining it. It's a journey. I think omni-channel, whatever work we're doing, there's so much we've done, but there's a lot to be done. And the expectations of the customers keep changing. So we have to, keep working on it continuously.
Good evening. I represent Daikin. Daikin, as you know, is an air conditioning company. And we are into businesses which is from B2C, B2B, B2D. So we have commercial business, we have our room air conditioning business, we have retail business. So there are many consumer journeys. And consumer journeys which are intermingled and which are different, which are similar. So these are the various challenges that we face when we are looking at devising a strategy which is integrative. And omni-channel, if I have to define in one word, it is integration. A strategy, is not a strategy if it requires a lot of words to describe it. So integration is a process which probably we all are undergoing. It's not a destination. So we have done our bit, and especially after COVID, when the customer wants everything there and then, experience which is unparalleled, which he demands. So we are working towards making all these consumer journeys or making all these different journeys integrate and give an experience to a customer which he looks at a brand in a very special way. So that's what we've been doing. There were a lot of initiatives that we have taken in our B2B segment, B2D segment, where we have got our channel partners to come to a portal. We've started our D2C portal where we are giving service to our customer, also linking it to various other rewards and loyalty programs. So all those things are happening. But as I said, it's a journey and we wish to continue this. Thank you.
Thanks. So one thing which I noticed, I think most of you mentioned, was the fact that earlier customer experience was about discrete points of experience, right? Your website or your customer's contact center or your store. But now it's all about integration. I think you mentioned it. And post-COVID especially, and I think in the high involvement purchases, customers are jumping from one channel to another. So it's very important to engage with them in a seamless manner. So on that note, and different things came out, right? I think all the right keywords came out. So when you're defining your omni-channel strategy, you have to think about your process, your data, your technology, but most importantly, you have to account for the changing customer behavior. So one thing which keeps popping up in a lot of people's mind is this, is omni-channel only for individuals, for customers, or is it, so the whole B2B versus B2C thing, right? Especially in brands, in consumer brands. So any views on that from anybody, especially from the anchor side or from Godrej side? So if there is, so how do you define omni-channel separately for B2B, B2C? Are there different types of challenges?
So, yes. So when we at Panasonic Life Solutions, we deal with a lot of builders, we deal with a lot of architects, specifiers, so which comes up in B2B category for us. But when it comes to omni-channel experience, these B2B consumers have a different kind of expectations from us. So for them, omni-channel would mostly be on the emails. a B2B consumer or a builder who is having, crores of deals with you, and if he's want to interact with you, or if he want to do some interaction with you, he will obviously not go to Twitter to interact with the brand. So preferable mode for them is mainly on the emails, and if they have any service request, their maintenance guys or their teams comes back to us with the chatbots, or they would ask us to have their special logins on the CRM platforms. So wherever an interaction on social media or on other platforms with the B2B, it is still yet to get maturity in Indian subcontinent. That's what I feel.
Yeah, so see, when you look at this omni-channel experience, I think on the B2B side, what we have seen is that a company, especially a company which is, someone like us who's 125 years old and, engaging with our customers, I think what matters is not just that how we engage with our customers, but I think on the other side, how the customers are actually going to reach out to you, because the kind of products, especially in the BFSI segment, which we are catering to, they need a strong service after sales, because, somebody would lose a key and he'll say, okay, a particular bank branch, I think we have gentlemen from the banks. So when you talk about bank branches, and you're not able to close the door in the evening, the strong room door, the vault door, you need somebody then and there. How does the customer really reach out to you? So we have created multiple platforms to reach out to us. It is, of course, we have a 24/7 call center. We have WhatsApp thing which works on bots, and of course the mails and the websites. But of course the kind of network, the infrastructure which we have to create, to back all this up, is also equally critical. Otherwise, you may have multiple channels to reach out to you, but how are you really going to execute it? So that actually is very, very critical. So that's one part of it when it comes to B2B. I think you spoke about the challenges. And, I just want to share with you typical challenge which a company like us faces when we move out to an online store. We've been very strong in general trade. We had the entire retail distribution and, the conventional brick and mortar, and, majority of the work was happening there. And suddenly one fine day we started saying, okay, we are opening an online store, because that was the need. The channel started becoming shaky, a sense of insecurity, ki, company kya kar raha hai? We are there, boss. Why are you opening up your own store? What is it that you really want to do? So that is something which we address, and that was a major challenge for us, because there was no way we could afford to really, lose them. I could, draw huge amount of strategies on, in the boardroom saying, okay, main aisa karunga, I'll do this omni-channel. But the entire thing, it comes to, the realization is when you really start rolling it out. And that's where we said, okay, fine, how do we really address it? So we got the entire channel, we had an interaction with them, detailed interaction, and we said, okay, fine, whatever we are doing on our store, you are going to be our fulfillment partners. So depending on the PIN code, so if there is an order which is, raised on the online store, and for us, our products are very heavy. So we need a last mile connectivity. So we said, boss, you are going to be the fulfillment partners. So it was a very, very, alignment, the entire alignment which we got was fantastic, because we were able to solve two problems in one go. So one was, of course, getting them on our side. And the second was in terms of fulfillment of the entire, last mile. So that was the way we actually addressed this entire challenge. And it was a win-win thing. So, you've got to be, innovative in terms of designing solutions.
Absolutely. So, and we spoke about data, right? Having a common data backbone is a must for omnichannel, and cannot happen without the cooperation of your dealers, distributors, and people in the B2B chain. So absolutely spot on that one. See, the other thing is, and I think that we spoke about technology, right? So technology is the backbone of the whole omnichannel experience. There are plethora of choices today on the technology side, right? Now, one way to move forward on what technology you should use is to use a principle-based approach, right? So a lot of organizations say, okay, we will have a API first technology setup, or nowadays AI first. So for everything, we will first think of AI, right? So this is a question to you, Abhijit and Deepak, especially given in financial services. So how are you using some of these principles to define your technology choices?
Very contextual, because API first, so it's like the symbiotic relation between API first and AI first, right? Yeah. So in our organization, when we started the transformation, and not only in our organization, the entire banking industry, the digital banking transformation started somewhere between 2014-15, right? When we started thinking, or we started believing that digital banking doesn't only mean by mobile banking app or an internet banking website, right? There are a lot more things to do on this space. There we figured out that what all applications we have, and in most of the banks that time we are having the legacy applications, which we first need to upgrade to the modernized app, right? Then the concept of cloud came. Now when we started moving our applications to cloud, we figured out that if we take this old approach of build versus buy kind of thing, right? Then the key shift challenge will be still there. So we took that API first approach, where each and every application will expose their API, right? And applications will talk to each other via API. And I think someone was talking about the integration, right? So the integration is the application part or applied part of the API first approach. I mean, had we not have this API first approach, probably the integration wouldn't be so seamless as of now, right? Now, once this API first approach we implemented, we figured that a lot of product managers, right, who were building products, right, and mostly they are having product knowledge, not the technology knowledge. But with this API first approach, now product managers, they can think about product on very technical angle, right? Any product manager, if you ask to any banks these days, right, they can talk about technology. And we need it. So this API first approach actually helps us to build product and take a leapfrog jump. And at the same time, nowadays we are talking about the AI first. Now AI has become not the after effect kind of thing. It's not a post factor, right? We'll have to factor it very onset of your transformation or any journey, right? And as I told you that we need to know our customer. We need to know his needs, want, and the preferences. Now, to know all these, we need to employ AI, right? For example, the context or the preferences, at what time we should call customer, what is the best time to reach to him. So all these things without AI first approach, you cannot do, right? So the data domain centricity, AI first and API first, these three are the modern approach banks are taking these days.
So just to add what Abhijit has mentioned. So in typical bank, if you see, so there is a core banking application which we call. So earlier, of course, when we started thinking about all these things, so what we found that first thing is we have to decouple our engine with the interface, so which was not the case earlier. So nowadays we call a term lighter the core. Lighter the core means if my CBS is able to calculate interest and the overdue correctly, its job is done. It need not to get into other areas. So one is decoupling of your engine with the presentation layer. So that can be done only if you start evaluating your engine. Am I doing too much with my engine? Second thing is when we speak about decoupling, so you should have a strong layer between your engine, which is doing the real business, and the presentation layer, be it on Instagram or your Facebook or wherever. So you should have a clear-cut API layer plus headless API, what we call these days, so that whatever is happening in front end, back end is totally, absolutely fine with it, and there you need not to change your backend application for any damn change which is happening on any social media platform. So how you can do it? Simple, you should have microservices based architecture, so that if one thing is changing in one platform, I should not disturb the entire engine. And of course, cloud first strategy has to be there. Otherwise, again, every time, in fact, we have faced this issue, we keep struggling between the two, how to integrate it with it, or there is issue with connections and all. So I think these 2-3 things are there. You need to lighter your engine. You need to have a strong API connect with that. Plus, you should have this cloud-based approach.
Yeah, thanks. And in fact, just so from my experience, what I've seen is defining these principles is a very important step in your journey, so that your decision making can then be consistent, right? So one thing which came up, somebody mentioned that nowadays every customer wants to be treated specially, right? So they want to be treated as if they are your only customers. Now in this whole thing, how do you treat your premium or loyal customers? You have to give them some special treatment. So I will direct this question to our colleagues from telecom industry. So Govind, if you would want to go first, and then followed by that, Rajiv.
Yeah, I mean, in the environment that we are in telecom, cutthroat, mobile market especially, difficult to say what is premium, right? On a lighter note, I hope he agrees with it. But yes, I'll talk a little bit on B2B and maybe on the B2C as well, right? And the B2B, I think a premium customer, I don't want to call it premium, but obviously the size of the ticket or wallet is larger comparably, and also the profile of the customer is very different. So how do we, what is their preference and how do we cater to it? I think, but it has undergone a bit of a change. In the pre-COVID, it was completely high touch. I mean, you would meet an SME customer physically or a large customer physically, CIO, CTO. Pandemic, it is completely digital touch. But post-pandemic, the interesting change that we've seen, I think, is the customer prefer it to be hybrid touch. For example, certain transactionary stuff, I don't think they're expecting the service manager or the sales to come over and just kind of spend 15 minutes to close a payment transaction, right? So, but there are certain aspects of the B2B experience which are a little more consultative, more solution selling, that they expect still to be physical touch or a white glove or a high touch. So I think the B2B, the experience today, I would like to call it as a hybrid touch. Coming to the consumer, between the prepaid and postpaid segments that we are all familiar with, I think the postpaid is where I think you try to attribute a lot of service and experience aspect to it, because I think the customer cohort is very different. So there, I think your omni-channel, be it social or call center or the speed of response that they expect, fundamentally is different. So you would try to put your the entire service engine or the omni-channel to full sweat to cater to postpaid. And I think that comes closer to what I would like to call it as a premium customer. Simple things like the time it takes to connect to the call center agent, or your app journey is little more curated, more crafted, more customized to what we call as a premium or a more loyal customer. Or even when a customer walks into the retail, do you really need to walk in, or can I deliver the service at your doorstep or office step? So fundamentally, I think that's how we are differentiating the experience given the omni-channel experiences the customers prefer. But yeah, tough to call premium in what the kind of industry environment we are in.
Check. Yeah, largely second your thoughts, sir. Simple mantra to kind of wow a customer, right, is not to just give them freebies or like goodies or like extra benefits or add-ons, but not to dissatisfy them, especially on platforms like digital platforms. What we have taken for premium customers, or like say for example high-value customers, those customers who have been with us for a decade or more, is that we ensure that they don't get anywhere disappointed or dissatisfied throughout the journey, nor get some random calls for sales calls or marketing calls to disturb them. So if they have applied for a DND, we have ensured that there is a DND in place for them so that they don't get disturbed. So it's not what they're expecting as a loyal customer from a brand is that have they understood me in this so long in this journey? Does the brand kind of understood me, or like are they still in the strategy of treating me as a new customer, right? And second way is, especially I'm talking about digital and assisted channels like social and chat and WhatsApp. is being proactive, especially to this such premium customers and high value customers. Is like you don't wait for them to come and ask any query or a request or a complaint, but you know their behavior, and you know, I mean, what do they expect from us and what not do they expect from us, and you be proactive with them in terms of checking on them, right? I mean, we have recently we did. There was a post from customer on Instagram saying that back in those days, Airtel used to greet customers with a letter, welcome letter. It was like 98, 97, 98. So what we did is we just recreated that, and for that customer we did the same letter and with a handwritten note and a flower bouquet, and we couriered it to the customer. And the customer was with us from 98, and he recalled out those moments of joining the, getting a SIM for the first time and joining with the same number. So, and that got some good attraction on social. It's not for the attraction, we ensure that we keep that emotional connect with the customers. And if someone who's been a food blogger or someone who is in fashion, someone who is in sports, we as a brand is closely associated with them for longer years and tenure. We ensure to partner with them and ensure that, hey, hope your blogging activities day in, day out is running fine. We read your recent book. Hope your connectivity is as smooth so that you don't get any disturbance. So if at all you face any connectivity with your broadband, please do drop us a message. So such a message on a Monday morning, customer reads it and they feel very happy. I mean, we may not be able to fix their network connection right at the way over the call, but I think such customers will definitely not leave the brand. I mean, though they're not super happy about it, but the last thing is that they will recall such moments from the brand and say that, fine, I'll be with them. So that's what we are trying to create for premium customers or high value customers. So I will not segment it like that, but for every customers, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, what you spoke about, the greetings part, I think that reminded me of something which we are doing right now. And I think why we need to be really careful about, when we talk about this AI thing, so we were doing a beta testing of a bot, a chat bot, and basically more from the service angle, that, okay, there were options given, and, we said, okay, how did you find our service? So highly satisfied, satisfied, not satisfied, so customer, we click saying, okay, satisfied. So the bot says, thanks, buddy. Now, thanks, buddy. I mean, how many of you, would you really like that? So I think we need to really ensure that the whatever implementation we are doing, goes through in terms of capturing what the other side is like, or how would that person take it, he or she. Thanks, buddy. I mean, I may not like it. Maybe somebody who's, in that 20-25 bracket may say, oh, wow. So I think, so these are the kind of things one needs to be really, really, cautious about, because technology is there. I mean, we are talking about these AI tools, but one has to be very, very careful, in terms of doing this testing time and again, and then roll it out. So just thought I'll bring this out.
Yeah, and the question to the providers is, how do they capture this feedback? You didn't like it, but how do they know that you didn't like it? So that training and something which is something which has to be a continuous process. Yeah. Yeah. So see, I was just thinking, telecom is one sector which touches us all as consumers, like, literally every waking hour per day. The other sector which touches us a lot is financial services, right? So just a question to Hari and Suraj from a financial services sector perspective, how do they see technology disrupting customer experience in the coming years?
Yeah, I think it has already disrupted. The disruption is something which will not wait, and it will, of course, disrupt in the coming years also. A couple of things which you talked about is like the premium customers and then the B2B. In insurance, it will always be B2B2C, like there will be an intermediary in between who's going to be there. And Generali is actually a 190-year-plus old brand that we work with. And insurance has started with like ensuring the risks of the cargoes going on ship or so. So what we have realized is that intervention of the human being is going to continue to remain, but how do you enable those intermediaries is something which will be relevant to your success. So we were also talking about API and AI integrations. For us to succeed, important is to facilitate those portals. Portals is a very important portion to the intermediaries who are doing with the work with the customers. So the virtual offices that we provide become the real way for them to work. So already like 90% of our policies are done digitally, though insurance is something which is very traditional, but the work is happening digitally. So either in the setup of national tie-ups like the Marutis or the Toyotas, they are giving their portal where I am integrating, or vice versa. In the case of other places, the smaller intermediaries, I am giving my portal where they are logging in and using. So that is already a big disruption. And then corporate is a big business, the real B2B. And there you have to give a premium segment. So you may still have a standalone customer who may have a health claim, is unhappy, may not make that big impact, but when there's a corporate like a Apple or someone of that thing, then your entire base is impacted. So you do, again, then provide a very tiered service and a very differentiated services over there. So I think, I mean, in closing remarks, I would say like the types of, Google also tried to venture in insurance, and of course they will again in the right time. But what has been also realized is that it will have to be a combo of the human aspect plus the digital. If it was only pure play digital, they would have already been there all over the place. So we do hear about the breakthrough cases like Lemonade and other, where they are maybe settling the claim cases in 2 minutes, but it's not that simple. It is a small scale and the smaller ticket things which are going to happen. So the innovation will continue to be in that way, to empower the intermediation channels, to build the word of mouth, and to leverage technology in those channels. And that is where the reach and the disruption will happen. One more innovation will happen is insurance will not remain pure play insurance to cover the needs when there is an accident, but it will leverage more and more of ecosystems of services. Like if you have got health, then you have got wellness. That is your jogging, your food habits and all will be captured in your app. And we are already doing that at Generali, and you get the benefits for that, not only in the premium discount of insurance, but overall what all you can do, like a doctor on call, consultation. So many more things of such exciting natures will continue to come.
So Abhinav, with respect to technology disrupting financial services, recently I was with a public sector banker. The main problem that he stated was that they have lots of deposits from customers. Customers deposit a lot of money with them. But the problem is all the money deposited, when it comes to usage of money or transaction of money, they don't see customers transacting on that platform. So there is a customer who has deposited ₹1,00,000 in the account, but when it comes to money transfer, when it comes to investing in stock markets, investing in mutual funds, or for any other product, financial services product, the platform of the bank is not used, some other platform is used, even for lending. So this is the problem that they're facing, and this is where technology is playing a role. So the companies that have taken technology as a priority do not face this problem, because technology is providing three main benefits to the organization and to the customers. One is convenience to the customer. It is providing convenience which is not present with the traditional players. Second, it is providing instant gratification. So the generation right now is looking for services which can fulfill the instant gratification needs, be it a loan, be it an investment, or be it any service, be it even food delivery for that matter. If it's instant, they would go for it immediately. And third is security. So technology is able to fulfill all these three aspects that the present generation is looking for: instant gratification, convenience, and security. And that's the reason a lot of digital banks or fintechs are able to do this faster as compared to traditional players who are slowly moving towards that. I can see a lot of banks are giving good competition even to fintechs and digital players. So today, if some customer wants to transfer money, he will immediately open Google Pay or Paytm. He would not open his banking app, even though his banking app can do the same transaction at the same speed, but he doesn't do that. He's used to going to that bank. He wants to invest, he will open Zerodha. He won't, even if he has a bank's demat account, he won't go there. So that kind of, the branding has been built by technology first players. They are known for convenience, security, and instant gratification, and that's what the other traditional players need to rebrand themselves, that's when they would be able to match up.
Sure, thanks. So, yeah, I think we were just warming up, but I'm getting a signal that we are out of time. The clock is also showing us overdue. So we'll stop here. Thank you, everyone. And I had a great time. I hope the audience have also taken up something. Thank you. Back to the...
Thank you so much, Abhinav,
Thank you.
for having a wonderful panel session and wonderfully moderated. And thank you so much to the honorable panel members. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for this fantastic panel. Omnichannel Success, Lessons in CX Strategy and Execution. And I would request the honorable panel members to kindly be on stage. And I would like to call Mr. Nikhil Thapar, Head of Field Marketing, APAC, India and MEA from Unifor, to kindly do the honors of felicitating this wonderful panel of experts here. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for doing the honors. We'll start with Mr. Hari Shankar Mishra, Senior Vice President, Customer Experience from Future Generali India Insurance Company. Thank you so much, Mr. Mishra, for your valuable insights in this panel session. Moving next to Mr. Suraj Shetty, Head of Customer Experience from Kissht Loan. Thank you so much, Suraj, for your wonderful contribution in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Rakesh Gupta, Head of Customer Experience from Anchor by Panasonic. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for your wonderful contribution in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. GovindaRaj Avasarala, Head of Customer Experience Excellence from Vodafone Idea. Thank you so much, GovindaRaj ji, for your valuable insights in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Deepak Bhatia, IT Specialist from India Exim Bank. Deepak ji, thank you so much for your wonderful contribution in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Abhijit De, Vice President, Product Head and API Banking, WhatsApp and Chatbot from Axis Bank. Thank you so much, Abhijit, for your wonderful contribution. Moving next to Mr. Rajiv Nagarajan, Deputy General Manager and Head of Social Media, Bharti Airtel. Thank you so much, Rajiv, for your wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Mr. Pushkar Gokhale, Senior Vice President and Business Head, Godrej Security Solutions. Thank you so much, Pushkar ji, for your valuable insights in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Rajan Sharma, General Manager, Marketing, Daikin Air Conditioning India. Rajan ji, thank you so much for your wonderful contribution in the panel. And now I would like to call Mr. Abhinav Chaturvedi, Partner Consulting, Deloitte, India. Abhinav wonderfully moderated the panel, fantastically conducted this huge panel. Thank you so much, Abhinav, and fantastically done. Would request the honorable panel members and Abhinav, if you could come to the center stage for a group photograph, and Nikhil, if you could also join them. A big round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful panel of experts here. Great panel session and great insights by these esteemed panel members, and wonderfully moderated and coordinated by Abhinav Chaturvedi, Partner Consulting from Deloitte, India. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your valuable insights in this panel.